I warned you. I tried to tell you. You didn't want to listen. Canelo was not going to fight Charlo. And now I got proof. And I'm going to show you. Sucker, I'm coming. All you chumps better bow down. Ego Stradamus. He did it again. I shook up the world. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Well. Really? We got some Canelo news. Oh, I know y'all wanted me to be wrong, but not today, Utah. So news came out. I did another video. ESPN Mexico, they're reporting that Canelo's gonna fight Dmitry Bivol, and that report has spread. Other people are now reporting it. It looks like they're waiting on Max to actually solidify the fight and sign his portion of it. So you also have Mike Coppinger with ESPN in America, and he's basically corroborating this report. Says T-Mobile Arena is the Las Vegas favorite venue to host Canelo's upcoming Cinco de Mayo weekend, sources tell Shava. Canelo has agreed to a deal that would see him face light heavyweight champion Dmitry Bivol on May 7th, but the agreement is not all the way finalized. Without further ado, roll the clip.
As well as newsbreaker extraordinaire Mike Coppinger, and it wouldn't be breaking news, Mike, if we didn't ask you about what the latest is on Saul Canelo Alvarez. PBC up in their offer. Was it enough? What do you know about what Canelo's next step will be?
Bernardo, we are almost at the finish line now. I am told that Canelo Alvarez has agreed to a deal for 2 fights with Matchroom. Fight 1, May 7th against Dmitry Bivol for light heavyweight title. And then in September against Gennady Golovkin, as long as Triple G beats Ryota Murata in a rescheduled middleweight title fight in April. But I am told at the moment, while Canelo has agreed and Dmitry Bivol has signed the contract, Triple G is trying to resolve some issues on his end. So that's the holdup right there. It's on the Triple G side, but I do believe it will be done in the coming days. One more note, Bernardo. PBC did make 2 offers. One of them was a 1-fight deal worth more than $45 million to fight Jermall Charlo in May. And then they also had a 2-fight deal for a second fight, potentially against David Benavidez in September, that would have totaled more than $100 million. But Canelo rejected that offer, and talks ended, I'm told, about 10 days ago, and there has been no dialogue since.
Oh, man. Well, you can't win them all, but I got this one. I told you Canelo was not fighting Charlo next. I wanted to see it. I would pay money for it, but sources, Canelo Alvarez, payday. You want payday. I know that. Has agreed to a 2-fight deal with Matchroom for DAZN pay-per-view bouts with Dmitry Bivol Cinco de Mayo weekend, and then Triple G in September. Bivol has signed his contract. Triple G has not yet signed. Still trying to resolve some issues. No deal until then. Much more, you know. So ESPN broke this news. It says, link in the description as well. Once Triple G, Max, big drama, guys, signs his contract, the deal should be complete. But even then, Triple G Golovkin would have to get past Ryota Murata in middleweight title unification in Japan in April. So he has a precursor. And then this. I told you, this is Canelo's, this is the way he moves. You know, some people, the Canelo Man fans, they're gonna exclaim that the Bivol fight is so good, but it's not a big fight. Dmitry Bivol, I won't front and act like he's a horrible fighter. You know, I don't do all that. He can fight, but it's just not what, in my opinion, boxing needs. And what Canelo, and I'm going to explore this in many other future videos. So make sure you guys like this video, but also subscribe for the latest and greatest, because I'm coming with the heat all 2022. Y'all know that. But here's a couple problems. For one, Canelo is all over the place. And his fans perhaps some of the weirdest fans and irrational groupie man fans in all of boxing. For starters, the WBC had a convention in Mexico, and it was announced through Canelo's own team and trainer, Eddie Reynoso, that Canelo was going to move up and fight at cruiserweight. Needless to say, not against a cruiserweight that you probably heard of. Some African dude named Makbouk Air, right? And this fight was met with much resistance. And the Canelo man fans, they ran with this. They said, oh, this is a great fight. Oh, Canelo, he's a BA because he's willing to go up to cruiserweight. Floyd Mayweather never went up to cruiserweight. And the whole time, I'm like, why would he go up to cruiserweight when there's valuable big fights and threats in or around his current division? Guys like David Benavidez, with that hand speed, right? Guys like Jermall Charlo, guys like Artur Beterbiev, etc. Why does he need to go to cruiserweight? But no, the Canelo man fans, they justified, like they always do. No matter who Canelo picks, it's justified from the Canelo fans. They say, oh, this is an amazing fight, and how come Charlo is not moving up to cruiserweight? And they bring up everybody else, especially black fighters. And it's just like, that fight didn't need to happen. Now, how do we get to Bivol? I thought you were moving up to cruiserweight, which was a bogus bunk idea. Now you're trying to fight Bivol. Now, the Bivol fight, it's not a big fight. Bivol's last several fights, nobody's watched. Listen, let me know, hand over heart, if you watch Dmitry Bivol's last 3 fights. Let me know in real time if you watch Dmitry Bivol's last 3 fights, because he wasn't even fighting on main events in some of those bouts. He was a co-feature. This is who Canelo picks for allegedly a monumental outing. When you had, he said it, ESPN said, Charlo as a singular deal, and you could have stayed a free agent. Canelo is fully screwed, because what his team said doesn't make sense. MacBook Air, I just talked about that. When the negotiations fell apart with Caleb Plant last September, the Canelo man fans blamed Caleb Plant. They blamed the black advisor, Al Heyman, and PBC said, oh, Canelo, he got out of the Golden Boy contract so he could be a free agent. So he wants to remain as such. So PBC, they messed up offering Canelo a multi-fight deal. And Canelo, he wants a fight-by-fight, case-by-case basis. He's not looking to get in long-term contracts. Fast forward to the future, they're saying he signed a multi-fight deal. So what is the difference? How come he couldn't sign a multi-fight deal with PBC, but he's willing to sign a multi-fight deal for an app in less than fights? Triple G is 40 years old, and I ain't even got to his fight. He's 40 years old. Canelo beat him years ago. Why do I need to see that again? Especially since Triple G had no fights. I repeat, no fights. I'm the best in boxing history. He had no fights in 2021. Why do I need to see that right now? They will not get my pay-per-view dollar. I will not pay out of Ego's bank account for either of these 2 fights. You guys can pay for it if you want my channel to watch it, but I won't. That's a promise. You know, why do I need to see a 40-year-old Triple G? You should have struck while the iron's hot when they both moved to DAZN, but you didn't. And then on top of that, the fans, this is just so FUBAR. DAZN came out with this energy, the DAZN curse, and they were saying that pay-per-view's dead. Now they're trying to charge pay-per-view, especially for a Dmitry Bivol fight. I can't wait to see the price point. So every time Errol Spence is fighting on pay-per-view and you hear the usual suspects and racists cry, let's see what they have to say about Canelo versus Bivol, a guy who was just a few fights ago, you know, within a few fights, having bad performances and fighting on a co-feature. Let's see what they think. I can't wait when the price point. But again, I'm getting too ahead. There's so much to talk about. I'm not really surprised, but I'm not really in awe with either of these fights, to be honest. Bivol fight, I mean, he keeps fighting guys, Eastern European guys. I mean, this is, I guess, his calling card. Canelo will never be revered in the same breath as Mexican legends like Julio Cesar Chavez, like Marco Antonio Barrera, Eric Morales, Juan Manuel Marquez, Finito Lopez. It's not the same. They didn't do this. They didn't just fight all Filipino guys. Like, you know, Marquez fought a Filipino fighter, but imagine if Marquez's whole body of work was just miscellaneous guys from the Philippines who you knew Marquez wouldn't lose to. You know what I mean? It's kind of what Canelo's doing on this Eastern European Caucasoid whatever. I mean, tour that he's doing. It's just, these aren't the fights, you know, these aren't the fights that people are asking for. And then you turn down over 100 million, because you know it would have been a pay-per-view over there on PBC too, and it would have been a successful pay-per-view, which I would have no problem paying. And PBC never alienated themselves from the pay-per-view game like DAZN, who said they would never do a pay-per-view, and Eddie Hearn says F pay-per-view, and Americans have too much pay-per-views to worry about, so we're changing the game, and game changed and all that. Now, after success with the Caleb Plant fight, a great build-up, fun fight, almost 1 million in terms of views, he's going back on the app. So, you know, he's going to end up bankrupting DAZN. They're going to end up being bankrupt like Wheel of Fortune, because this paying Canelo $40 million on a fight, I don't see it being successful. That's my honest opinion. But nonetheless, I told you he wasn't fighting Benavidez. I told you he wasn't fighting Charlo. A lot of people said, oh, your boy, the rumors were like that the Charlo fight he might do. Now we know that's not the case. This is typical Canelo behavior. I love being right, you know. I know so many people want me to be wrong, but not this time. Subscribe to the channel, I'm out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.